Hey, how's it going? I hope everything's going well and you're staying safe. I just decided to make a small video, short video, um, basically about some features that I see Pro Tools do, and I would love to see Studio One being able to do them as well, if not in the same way, better even. Um, Basically, the story behind it is that, as you might know or not know, Avid, the company that makes Pro Tools or owns Pro Tools right now, decided to switch to subscription plans. And when they did that, or not long after, they did away with the reinstallment or reinstatement plans that they did offer before for people that had upgrade or update plans that were left unattended for X amount of time and wanted to get back on track. Now that option does not exist anymore. At least I haven't seen it for standard Pro Tools, and I have found a couple for Ultimate, but some were even just out of stock again, and that means that at some point those are going to run out as well. So basically, the only choices we're going to have left, if we haven't had it already fixed, is going to be just either trade the perpetual licenses for subscriptions or buy a whole new Pro Tools software basically from scratch in order to regain the ability to keep on with the updates. Kind of feels like a stab in the back for us customers, but well, that's what they did. So basically, I'm trying to switch to Studio One from that, and I still do all my work in Pro Tools. Uh, and I find these little things that I wanted to make mention of that I would love to see Studio One having them. Not just for me, there might be other people that might be interested in that or might benefit from it. And there are tiny details that I see. I'm very OCD, it might be just me because of that. But I figured I'd share them and see what you think about. Um, the first one being the plugin switching ability, which to me Pro Tools does it so quickly, so easy, and so naturally in just one move. You do one click here, and you go through the drop-down menus and select it, and that's it. And then for it to be switched, you just gotta drop here and again drop here, and select it, and switch this on the spot. You don't have to do any extra steps. I can do that from here as well, and follows up, and it switches it on the spot. And over here in Studio One, I find myself having to do this, and once I have it, if I want to switch it, I cannot just straight up switch it from here. I do have to either remove it by doing that or holding control and dragging them off, and then either grabbing from here. This I normally have closed because I like to have my real estate here and be able to see. This time I don't have as many tracks as I usually have, but I normally have more, so I like to see as much as I can. So I keep this one closed, or either go from here and do it again. There's no like a direct way to replace it the way Pro Tools does, and I would love to see that feature in Studio One. I believe, to me, it feels like it makes the workflow a little faster, a little more efficient. Um, Now, that's my opinion anyway. The other thing that I would love to see is more options on these guys for metering. I work for different platforms. Sometimes I work for platforms, I work for radio, I work for internet-based platforms, I work for TV, I work for music. I am used to switching my meter scales to match whatever project I'm working on, and I feel comfortable that way. Maybe some other people do too. I know I've heard of people that does this on a regular basis, and I only see Studio One offering two types here, and we're missing all the K system, which I only find on the master. I'm used to seeing over here on all my meters being set up to one scale, and it could be either K, it could be any ppm, it could be a digital VU or a VU or a linear or whatever. Um, depending on which project I'm working on, and I do have that option here. But I would love to see all these many options, BBC, Digital Nordic, ABU, etc., being offered on Studio One, to be able to do that too. That would be fantastic, at least for me, and I hope that for somebody else will too. It couldn't hurt to have it anyway. I think it's a very pro feature to have, and that's another one. Then I wanted to mention the ability to move this guy around, which is not that big of a deal, and that is probably particularly me. I don't know if anybody else does this or likes to move things around like I do. I don't think it could hurt to have this guy being able to move it. I got used to having my layout set up this way, with my instrument tracks to the left, my master and center, and on the right my buses or my VCAs. In this case, I don't have the ability to do that. Maybe somebody else likes to move things around and feels comfortable having this guy somewhere else. So I could see some use for having that feature added to it. Then another thing is the fact that if I double click here in console mode, and I use this quite often, I can create immediately a audio track, a stereo audio track. And over here, I know I can get used to hitting the T, but still I gotta give some parameters in here. If I get a way to just let it be set somewhere and just double click and have whatever I had it set for, that would be fantastic, because it speeds up what I'm trying to do. And so that's another thing. And the last thing is that's something that I kind of feel myself, and from my point of view, that could probably be worked on a little better. I feel like the meters kind of react a little bit sticky, sluggish, or slow, or the delay on them kind of feels unnatural. At least to me, I heavily rely on looking at my meters. It's just the way I was used to when I was doing analog. I use my ears, but I'm always looking at my meters as well. Now I noticed that the movement path that these meters have is a lot less in trajectory or length than in Pro Tools is, and I don't know why the reason. It just doesn't feel like it's very accurate, at least because I'm used to a whole different thing for many years. This might not happen just to me. I don't know. Maybe somebody that's used to this is just used to it and doesn't know anything different. But many people that perhaps worked in a different DAW, it might be just different for them too. I just feel like maybe if we had a way to adjust this, or if there's something lagging that could be worked on, that would be fantastic. Now let me just give you the example. I have this guy playing here with some drum pattern that I recorded, and it kind of feels like the reaction when the events happen are not too clear, and the movement, the trajectory that it moves, it's fairly short compared to what I'm going to show you next. It might be because of the scale, but since we don't have the ability to adjust it, I can tell you. So it feels like there's a little delay, or actually a good chunk of delay between the event hits and this thing reaches the peak where it should be. In Pro Tools, since I'm used to it, it feels obviously more natural, but it also feels that regardless of the scale, I believe that it responds better in the trajectory. It seems to be a lot longer as well. That could probably be related more to the scale that I'm using, but the responsiveness of the meter feels more fluid, more effective. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Maybe somebody else is experiencing the same thing. So these features, I think they could either be added or worked on. It couldn't hurt to have them, even if there's other, ways around that people might be used to. I believe, especially the switching plugins, I haven't found another way that to me feels faster or more effective. For everything else, well, perhaps other ways around, but it couldn't hurt to have all these features around added, since we are actually, I've seen that, I noticed the PreSonus is kind of absorbing many other DOS best features to have, kind of like a massive. This is a massive monster project, which I love. I love the way they're aiming for. I love what it's doing so far, but it's still, it kind of um, could be perfected a little bit more, I guess. It could have these features would be fantastic to have. I'm sure other DAW users could probably contribute a chunk of more information on which things will be fantastic to have. I'm just giving my own point of view based on my workflow for over 20 years, and things that I would like to see, considering that soon one of these Windows updates is going to make my Pro Tools basically useless. So this being the only way to continue on a more familiar environment, and one of the big things about it is just having the shortcuts that I'm used to using in Pro Tools being able to be configured fully or already set, the majority of them in here. So having this little chunk of other features added would be great, maybe for me and perhaps for any other Pro Tools users out there wanting to do the same thing. So basically that's it. I don't have any more to say. I just wanted to show these little things. If you feel the same way about any of these things, just, I would like to know. So leave me a comment down below, and if you find a better way to do it than what I know, and it actually resolves the actual issue, because I've been told, well, you can do this or that, but it never just kind of went to the point of what I'm saying. It didn't fulfill the action that I'm looking for. So that's all. I'm gonna leave you guys, and I hope you stay well and stay safe, and I might see you in the next time.